I say we are delighted to be able to talk to George Galloway, the MP for Rochdale and the leader of the Workers' Party of Britain. George, good morning to you.
Good morning. What a story, what a day.
Well, you're absolutely right. Every day is a big day, but one of the things now about you, this is the first time in living memory that an avowedly socialist party to the left of Labour will contest, you plan to contest every single seat at a general election. How are you going to do that, George?
Well, we've already got 500 candidates, so we thought this was the moment to declare to the country that there is an alternative to Keir Starmer if you are a Labour voter. And all the signs are there's a very big market for that. The kind of Labour we have now is Tony Blair without the laughs, without the polish, led by an automaton so wooden the birds are nesting in him, and up to his neck in the Gaza slaughter. So there's actually a lot of people looking for an alternative like us. And we've put together, Eamon, candidates that you will find difficult to believe. Monty Panesar, for example, the ace English cricketer, is going to stand for us in Southall. We've got people from the Tory party, UKIP, Labour, Liberal, Democrat. We're building a coalition of people that want a change in Britain. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of people looking for that change.
Well, it's interesting that in your sights, the enemy seems to be, other socialists seem to be the Labour Party, as opposed to those who are diametrically opposed to you and the Conservatives.
Yes, of course. We don't expect anything from the Conservatives. Rishi Sunak, the billionaire, is sitting there with the green card in his pocket. He's off to California. His mind is on the beach, like some of our Manchester United players. But his is the California beach. We don't expect anything from the Conservatives. But there are millions of people, traditional Labour voters, that are entitled to something better. We believe Britain deserves better than the two cheeks of the same backside that are currently on offer.
And I believe you think you're going to have most success in those constituencies with large Muslim populations. And you've got your eyes firmly on, I think, Angela Rayner's seat, which is Ashton-under-Lyne, where you actually think you may be quite successful.
Well, we have a candidate there of the very first rank. You'll be able to interview her later today outside Parliament when we assemble 170, I think, of those candidates who've made their way in the early morning with all the difficulties of Britain's failways to come and be presented. Angela Rayner is a disgrace to her constituency and to anything called Labour. But I've got the news for you that the vast majority of our candidates are neither Asian nor Muslim. They're white, English, Scottish, Welsh, and Irish. So we're actually looking for votes in every part of the country from every background.
And George, we've got Labour coming on a little bit later on in the programme. Just elaborate why you think Angela Rayner is a disgrace not only to Labour but to her constituents.
Well, I don't want to delve into her current difficulties that are under investigation by Greater Manchester Police. I'll just say that as someone who pretended to be a champion of left-wing politics, working class background and all, she's gone hook, line and sinker with Keir Starmer's abomination of anything called a Labour Party. Angela Runner, we call her. Don't be surprised if she runs away from our candidate on the chicken run.
George, the party's called the Workers' Party. Does it do what it says on the packet? Is it for workers?
Absolutely. Pro-Brexit, anti-identity politics, the kind of nonsense that's in the news today, the trans mania, none of that means anything to us. We want to unite people under the banner of their principal identity, which is that they depend upon their labour to live. If they lost their job, lost a wage or a salary, they'd be in poverty. That's the biggest identity that most people in Britain share. And it's under that banner that we seek to rally them.
Yeah. Let me ask you, my friend, what state do you think this country's in? I mean, every day we sit here, we get feedback from viewers and listeners. People are pretty depressed. What state would you say the country is in, and what can be done about it?
Well, we haven't been in a worse situation since 1941, and there's no Mr. Churchill to step into the breach. We are led by political dwarfs. And I'm not referring to Elevator Heels Rishi Sunak, political dwarf, who appear incapable even of controlling our own borders, even of keeping track of the people who are illegally coming into the country. We're infatuated with whether boys can turn into girls for the duration of the school day, and whether this quota or that quota of so-called diversity is being reached. We're fiddling while Britain burns, Eamon.
And are you actively looking for people, or have you got these people to contest every seat?
We've got 500. There's 650 seats. We will be making some exceptions, not standing where there are outstanding local independents, but they'd have to be outstanding. We'd have to be persuaded that they're in a better position to win than us. We showed in Rochdale that we have the chance to break through in British politics. Anyone interested that's watching can apply to be a candidate, even at this late stage, by going online at our website.
And do they have to share your values? I know anti-NATO, pro-Gaza, and not keen to prescribe Hamas as terrorists. Is that the same position for all of your members?
We've got a manifesto. It's a very good one. I commend it to you. A very attractive manifesto. They need to support our manifesto, of course. And when Monty Panesar, the great left-wing spin bowler, can be a candidate for the Workers' Party, you can see it's quite broad.
Yes, but I haven't read your manifesto, so I'm just asking you, do people that sign up for your party share your views on Hamas, which is refusal to declare them as a terrorist organisation?
I don't think you know my views on Hamas. Neither do you have the bandwidth, and definitely not the time to absorb it all. And I commend you to read manifestos before you discuss them.
Please enlighten me. What will your manifesto say about Hamas?
It says nothing about Hamas. We're the Workers' Party of Britain. We're seeking to save Britain. It's people like you that are obsessed by that question, not us.
George, it strikes me that maybe the audience that you're going for are the people that Boris Johnson broke through to, that he won last time around at the general election. Would I be right in that?
Yes, absolutely. We want to make the red wall red again. We want to return the voting patterns in these parts of Britain that were let down by Labour, fooled by Boris Johnson, and may want now to correct things by voting for the real deal.
George, there you are. You're back in the House. You're as an MP. How are you being received, my friend? Because you're one of the smartest people that I've ever met. But your message doesn't always go down well with certain people because you don't play the game. So how are you being received? How are you being, could I just say, maybe inverted commas, tolerated?
Well, amongst the staff, from the librarians to the waitresses, ecstatically with selfies, they're very glad to see me back, as are the Hansard writers, because finally they've got speeches that are legible and not read off a set of typewritten notes and constructed by someone else. The independent-minded people that I was always friendly with are still friends, but the sheep who merely run just ahead of the whips, the sheepdogs, they just keep their eyes down when I pass. Labour are afraid of us, Eamon. They know that we can do the same to them that your colleague Nigel Farage and the Reform Party are set to do to the Tories, namely take a lot of their votes.
And will you hold Rochdale?
Oh, we're very confident that we will do that. We actually expect an early election, which is why we're doing this today. And because we think it's an early election, we're already working in the Rochdale constituency. I'm very, very confident that we will hold it.
It is fighting talk. Fascinating to talk to you, George Galloway. Thanks for coming on, and we look forward to seeing what happens when the general election is called. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, George Galloway there.